You have A.J. Brown, DeVonta Smith, Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts in this offensive line. Again, I'm not ready to sound the alarm, but it feels like we should be moving the football a little bit better than we are with that many weapons. Big Sills coming right to you out of the gate, my friend. The Birds are 2-0, but man, was it ugly. Your initial thought process, Sills, after the Eagles win 20-17 today in week 2.
Okay, so you have 8 quarters now of an inept offense, especially in the passing game. And I give it to Jalen Hurts and those players that are on that team. They did everything they could to win that game. They're resilient. No question about it. It was a hard-fought football game. But, boy, I'll tell you what, that situational play calling by your offensive coordinator heading into, week 3 now when you have the Rams coming up on the other side, very uninspiring. Very, very uninspiring. The passing game, if you look at the numbers here going into this, I mean, I heard John at the halftime, off-time throws. There's no question about it, man. I mean, if you're encouraged by the defense in what they did in this ball game. And I get it. Patrick Mahomes didn't really have anybody. The play by Kelsey was probably the huge play in the ball game. Cool for Makuba to make a giant play, but 94 yards passing. And here, go on third down, too, on how poor they were on third down, 5 of 14. That offense was completely inept. Now, John says this all the time. That dude finds a way to win. He's a 60-minute football player. There is no doubt about it. But this is 8 quarters now. I mean, this is 8 quarters of watching the offense. I mean, they were just off-time plays. And how about this one, too? How about getting the fucking play in on time? I mean, you called stupid timeouts because you weren't getting the play in on time, and it was costing you timeouts in the first half of that football game. Andy Reid, hey, dude, you're not manned up normally with that roster that the Eagles have. You go for it on your side of the 50, and you go for it twice on fourth down, and you give up points, there's also your football game. Bro, you're not in the Eagles' room with talent. You needed to make it a fourth quarter game. They kind of did late, but they just didn't have the personnel on that side of the ball. And I'm going to say it one more time. You got A.J. Brown, you got DeVonta Smith, and you got Saquon Barkley, and you have Jalen Hurts. I'd say again, man, that's an inept offense right now. And we saw a little bit of this stuff before. There's just not situational play calling going on. But here, let's do the silver lining to this. They are 2-0. September's an ugly month for football. So you can't overreact. But still, what you start doing now, you start putting things on the calendar, and you start putting things on the chalkboard that says things to keep an eye on. And they've got a ton, especially on offense. Once again, I'm very encouraged by the defense. They did a hell of a job. Smith showed up, Darius Smith. I mean, Makuba showed up. I was more encouraged by the defensive effort in this game today than I was, obviously, by the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, but we'll get into everything you just said there, Big Sills. Joined now by John McMullen, host of Birds 365. We'll be live with Birds 365 at 8 a.m. in the morning. Johnny Mac, your first thoughts. Eagles win the game today, 20-17. They moved to 2-0 on the year. It was an ugly one, John, but you win nonetheless. Your first thoughts, Johnny Mac.
Yeah, this one's not going in the lube. They're not
No.
The Smithsonian isn't calling for the tape of this one. Ugly football game.
Woo!
And by the way, you know what my first take is? Fucking Tush Push is done.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
John, now they have the convenient excuse of it's too hard to officiate. You even heard it on the broadcast. Brady's even and Dean Blandino's like, I'm done with this.
Yep.
You don't want to talk about it anymore. You got people jumping off sides, trying to hit the football. They don't call any of it. You had this Drew Tranquil's trying to get the ball at the bottom of the pile. This thing's done. So enjoy it. It is cooked, and it's cooked because of this game. That's my prediction, number one. To Dan's point, I heard him about the offense. Yeah, the offense was egregious. 216 total yards, 101 passing yards. Again, we talk about this too much. I look, they win games.
Yeah.
All they do is win games.
Incredible.
But you start to look like this feels like more like the 10-1 start in 2023.
John, I saw social media go there. I was not ready for you to go there.
Well, no, from the standpoint, I don't know. From the standpoint of these are bullshit performances, and you're finding ways to win, and that's going to mask, and everybody's going to say, "Well, they're winning." Now, I'm not saying the Eagles are going to approach it like that,
right?
Because I don't think they will. But you can't just say, "Oh, they won," because that was a really limited Kansas City team, a really limited Kansas City team, and they're fighting you tooth and nail. And I heard you also say about good for the defense, and yeah, they played well. But Dan, in the pregame show, I said, they're probably going to have a good defensive game. I don't know what that means because Kansas City was so limited. And at the end, I was kind of disappointed because all he had was throwing it deep to Thornton, and he was wide open and he completely missed him, and then went back to him and got the touchdown. I'm like, what's going on with that? Couple blown coverages
over the top,
but it didn't hurt them.
Blown coverages, John.
Yeah. But it didn't hurt them. A lot of positives as well. I brought up at halftime, I thought that, I Cooper DeJean, his ability to tackle in the open field, make things difficult. Nolan Smith on that fourth down stop, that was tremendous. I loved what I saw from Zadarius Smith in his first, opportunity, being on a limited pitch count. I think he's going to improve them. But I'm not going to sit here and say, well, the defense has got it figured out.
No.
Because, boy, they're limited. And if Kelsey catches that ball, the game's right there.
Different game.
The game, that's the play of the game. And Drew deserves credit for making a play, but I mean, that's a pass that Kelsey's usually going to reel in. And he didn't, and that you take advantage. But now we're talking about that 2 consecutive weeks. CD Lamb dropping balls, Travis Kelce dropping balls. That's not a formula for sustained success.
No. I'll tell you this, John. Let's just do this. And you and I, we both say it. September's the month of liars. Boy, I'll tell you what, they are nowhere near in the room with Green Bay right now. It's 8 quarters only, but that team is nowhere in the room with that football team. When you're talking about beating a Detroit team that just put a 50 burger on the Chicago Bears, and folks would go, well, wait, the Bears? And I'm going to go, like John said, the Dallas Cowboys are limited. The Kansas City Chiefs are limited. The only thing that kept the Chiefs in that football game was Mahomes' ability, like I said he had to do. He had to ad-lib more off script, and he did. Because, to John's point, he's throwing to dudes that could barely make the Eagle practice squad. I mean, for them to be in that football game, man. Hey, John, seriously, Johnny Wilson could start on the Kansas City Chiefs right now. So, I mean, that was really ugly offensively. That's as ugly as it gets.
It really was. We got a lot of big takes there that we got to dissect. We're going to start on the offensive side of the ball. I want to welcome and thank everybody for being here. All right, on the JAKIB Postgame Show, the Philadelphia Eagles. I will remind you all, they are 2-0. Okay, they're 2-0. They get the win today at Arrowhead, a tough place to play.
Woo!
That has been to 3 Super Bowls in 5 years, or won 3 Super Bowls in the last 5 years. So that's the good takeaway. Now let's dive into this offense. All right, both of you guys just said a lot about how inept this offense looks, and I do think fans are feeling what you guys are feeling as well, and seeing what you guys are seeing with the offense.
Except on the tush push. Of course, they're jumping offside, but who cares, right?
Well, I think, John, I
You
think you're right. I think that tush push is done. So I think it's gone. They're already talking about it. You can tell it almost felt like a concerted effort. Everybody was tweeting it. They can't officiate it. They have no idea what to do.
They really don't, though. It's not a
No,
lie.
they don't. You're
But
right.
they're going to use that as an excuse.
Yeah, they
But
are.
they really can't officiate this thing. They really can't.
No, and plus, I think also Dickerson, you saw him, John. He was laboring out there again. He was limping around. You saw him dragging his wheel. I mean, that also might be playing a factor in this thing too. But how about this, man? Kansas City somehow with that inept running game. I mean, did they outrush the Eagles in this ball game?
No,
I mean,
Well,
no,
they didn't outrush them.
guys,
It was 122, 121. But
yeah, that was Mahomes. I get
294 total yards to 216 for
Wow.
Philadelphia.
That's got to be one of the worst offensive.
Let's talk about this. I want to talk about the passing, about the offense, though, right now, because through 2 games, 8 quarters of football. Look, I'm not ready to say Kevin Patullo stinks. I know a lot of people already are. They're already tweeting.
Well, I'm going to fight those people
next to Brian, John, whatever. But what is the problem here? Because I will say this as an Eagles fan. You have A.J. Brown, DeVonta Smith, Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts in this offensive line. Again, I'm not ready to sound the alarm, but it feels like we should be moving the football a little bit better than we are with that many weapons. John, I'm going to come to you first. Where is the problem on this offense? Is it Kevin Patullo? Is it Jalen Hurts? Is it the receivers? What is the issue right now with this offense and why they look so stagnant?
Well, I think it's all of the above, as always. I know people hate that, but they want to blame it on one person. They want to blame it on Kevin Patullo. They want to blame it. Oh, he's just like Nick Sirianni. They want to blame it on one thing. The quarterback's not releasing the ball on time. The offensive coordinator is being too conservative. The receivers too many times are not getting open. They don't have a plan for the blitz. And by the way, I'm going to take credit for that because I joked about it. The only thing they got was the go route on a 0 blitz. So Spags hasn't learned that from the standpoint of DeVonta Smith gets the go route. They don't even know, it seems, what a hot route is. And that goes through Nick Sirianni, Shane Steichen, Brian Johnson, Kellen Moore, and now Kevin Patullo. So, certain things you want to point to, well, that's Jalen Hurts. Certain things you want to point to, that's the play call. Certain things you want to point to. I will say what I think is the biggest problem, because I'm over all that stuff, because I know what the Philadelphia Eagles offense is, and it looks dramatically similar no matter who the offensive coordinator is, because they're building it around the quarterback. I think where they are failing is they're too conservative on first and second downs because of Saquon's big season. And they're saying, well, let's just let Saquon set the tone. No, throw the ball when they're not expecting it, and maybe you get some things to open up. Right now, they're being way too conservative, in my estimation. And you had a couple nice runs from Saquon Barkley, but overall, this just looks disjointed.
It does.
We go through last season. You had a bunch of these games, 5 or 6 of these games with ugly passing yards. Now you have 2 in a row. It's not like it's new, but it's not improving.
No.